on this particular development. Minister, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time.
How are you?
Wonderful, thank you. You must be in a very celebratory mood.
I think all of South Africans should really celebrate the moment that, we have been joined and visited by more than 10.4 million visitors this year. And, our biggest asset really is our people, the Ubuntu. And so we are very, very excited about it. In fact, it's for the first time that we have gone past the 2019 figures of COVID by 2.6%. It's the highest ever record that's been recorded of arrivals in tourism. But this truly did not come by coincidence. We have worked together with the private sector, and we've designed a tourism growth partnership plan that was approved by Cabinet. Also through Vulindlela and the Home Affairs, we've been able to introduce the electronic travel authorization visa system. And that is a big enabler and a game changer for tourism. And then lastly, also Cabinet approved a strategy so that we can grow the number of direct flights to South Africa. So it's a combination of collaboration with the private sector, with SA Tourism, with the business sector, that we've been able to grow the numbers to where we are today.
Yeah. Minister, while the numbers look good, on tourism safety, there does seem to be a concern there. A number of tourists affected, whether it be at Table Mountain or indeed those that would be mugged as they leave the airport. What is being done in that regard? Because that is likely to put a dampener. If tourists from other countries come here and their experience, first thing they touch down is to be mugged, then they're going to spread the word that South Africa may not necessarily be a good place to go.
Indeed, you are correct. Perceptions become reality. But that is why, since 2 years ago, we came together with the private sector, South African Police, the National Prosecuting Authority, all the provinces, all the cities, and we designed a plan to make sure, although the mandate to look after South Africans is that of South African Police, and they must also look after our visitors, the public and private sector came together. And this is how our plan has been rolled out over the past 2 years. First of all, from government, we invested 174 million rand. We employed 2,300 unemployed young people. We trained them within an accredited course. We then deployed them to all of those frequently visited sites like Table Mountain and some of our parks. And then the private sector contribution came from investing in a secure app. So anybody that arrives in our country can download the app. And through the app, you have got access to private security companies, medical, South African police services. And then, of course, we also offer aftercare services. We regret the attack on any of our tourists. And that is why the public sector and private sector are working together. The private sector deployed more resources around Numbi Gate next to the Kruger National Park. And we've certainly seen a decrease in the attack of tourists. And we are continuing to roll out our plan to make sure that prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
But I agree 100% with you. The perception is there. And that's why we have shared our plan, our joint plan, with all the South African missions abroad, with all the missions based in South Africa, to say this is what we are doing as government to, as it relates to security and safety.
Yeah. Minister de Lille, the number of times that you've mentioned the private sector tourism space as working collaboratively with government, if I counted the number of times, you really would see that indeed this is a team working together in unison. However, there does seem to be disquiet on their part, and their main discomfort is the agency South African Tourism, because they're suggesting that there is a leadership vacuum there. How do you respond to their concerns?
Well, first of all, we are in current communication with the Tourism Business Council, representing about 80% of the private sector. I have quarterly meetings with the boards of Tourism Business Council, Tomsa Levy, and SAT, and we communicate all the time. In fact, when all of the problems started with the now dissolved board, the Tourism Business Council assigned 4 people from the Business Council to work with them. Yes, within SAT, we did experience challenges, and this is what I had addressed today. Let me start with the CEO. The CEO is still suspended, and the disciplinary processes have started. The new board has already employed a new CFO, Chief Financial Officer. They've employed the head of internal audit. They've employed the CEO of South African National Convention Bureau. Right now, as we speak, the advertisements are being prepared to advertise by the 1st of February 2026 for 2 vacant positions, which is the COO, the Chief Operations Officer, and the Chief Marketing Officer. So the board is working to fill those vacancies. And the private sector has been assisted. You know, we have got 2 major events that we host and fund as government. And the first one is coming now, Meetings Africa in February. And there again, we work with the private sector to make sure that South Africa as a MICE destination, meetings, incentives, conferences, and events, that we maintain that. So yes, we are managing all of those problems actually, but it is not led to a paralysis of the tourism sector.
Yeah.
Because for every problem, there is a solution, like the president always say, and that's exactly what we are doing. We are bringing in solutions to continue to perform to the best of our ability.
Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille, thank you very much indeed for your time tonight, and massive congratulations on turning the corner, particularly when we look back at the immediate aftermath of COVID-19. This sector really looked to be depressed, but these numbers really showing a good turn of events.